Today's how to build is on the Infinity Gauntlet, made using Lego and Flexo. So if you're a big Marvel fan, chances are you've heard of the Infinity Gauntlet. It's what Thanos uses to control all 6 Infinity Gems or Infinity Stones, depending on what they're being called. And once he has all the gems in the gauntlet, he can control all of reality, and that's pretty cool. So I thought I would build it using Lego pieces because that's what I do for fun. And the impetus for doing this was that I got some Flexo pieces, which I'll explain in a moment, which allow you to build kind of flexible creations that are Lego compatible. And it seemed like an obvious fit to build a glove type thing. And if you're going to build a glove, don't build just any glove, build a gauntlet that can control all of reality. So just quickly looking at this, we've got 6 Infinity Stones on the back there and 6 different colors. Their positions and exact colors you could argue about based on the movies or the comic books, or whether Thanos is left or right-handed. Sometimes it's one way, sometimes it's the other, but I thought those looked pretty cool. I did this in gold. Sometimes it looks more yellowish. The underlying bits are orange because Flexo only really comes in orange. Here's a reverse side, kind of the inside of the hand. Of course, it kind of looks just kind of limp and lifeless like this, but the cool thing is, of course, this is actually wearable. So if you detach this piece down here, unhook the Flexo hinges. This was made to fit my hand, so I actually built it around my hand, which was challenging. I don't know if you've ever tried building something around your hand, but it's not the easiest thing to do. And now once you've got it all the way on your hand, we can take these Flexo joints back here, reconnect them, which is always a tricky business, again, because I built this on my right hand, which is the hand I use primarily. I'm right-handed. So doing things with my left hand while my right hand is totally incapacitated is difficult. Okay, then I can place this piece back. And then I had this little doohickey here to just cover up that bit down there. So this is kind of a look of how it actually looks on my hand. I can actually move my fingers a lot, which is one of the main things I wanted to achieve when building this, because I wanted it to actually be something you could feasibly do things with while you had it on. I could have tried to build this more so it covered my whole hand so you didn't see bits of hand showing through. Filled it in with more Flexo pieces. But also I don't have that much gold, so even just getting the gold to cover up most of it, still going to be little bits of hand showing through. So that's how I chose to build it, because I really wanted something you could conceivably wear for long periods of time if you're doing like Lego cosplay or something like that as Lego Thanos. So this is using pretty much all of my basic gold pieces. You can see I've got a lot of gold jumper plates, these gold 2x2 round tiles, some 1x2 plates with handles on it. Anything that was kind of like a regular gold plate shape that I had got used, some grill plates on the inside, and I tried to put pieces that were similar together. These are here really because I ran out of these 2x2 rounds, otherwise that would have been kind of all throughout, just rounds and jumpers. These 2x2 gold tiles came from a Lego board game from a few years back. These fence pieces I put down here I thought really kind of helped with the gauntlet feel on the bottom, that it kind of got more ornate and stuck out. Under here you can see I've got these, I don't know what to really call them. They're these 2x2 kind of double tall plates that are curvy and only have 1x2 on the top. But I had a bunch of those in gold as well, so you can see I did those around with 2x2 round tiles below them to kind of make a smoother transition down there at the bottom, and again, cover up a little bit more of my hand. That's also why I use these handle pieces here, because they cover up a little bit more space than they're actually connected to. So that's where I pointed them all kind of towards the center here to make the area where the gems are as full and gold as possible. Hello. Control all reality, time, space. What are the 6? Time, space, reality, power, mind, soul? I think so. Okay, now let's talk about Flexo. What are Flexo? So Flexo is a system for making flexible joints in a Lego compatible system. So there's really 2 elements to the Flexo system. There are plates, which have little notches in them. Those come in 2x2 and 2x4 quantities. And then there are tendons, which are these flexible pieces that come in 4 sizes. They had official names, so I'm just gonna call them 1, 2, 3, 4, of different lengths. And what you can do is you can put a tendon into a Flexo piece, and then you put it in another Flexo plate, and then those 2 things are connected by the tendon and can, be flexed in a lot of different ways. A couple of things to note: once you have connected a tendon into a plate, it's not the most secure connection on its own, so you want to build another level on top of that to make the tendon nice and secure. So now it's not going to fall out of that 2x4 piece because it's connected from the top as well, so that tendon can't come out. Can come out of the 2x2 very easily though. So it's important to build a layer on top of whatever you build out of Flexo. That's why I kind of have the orange layer on the inside of my glove and the gold layer on top of that to connect everything in place, keep the tendons nice and secure. It can be tricky to make that tendon to plate connection. They give you this tool here for kind of pressing the tendons in, which can be helpful, especially if you have larger fingers and can't really get them into that little section. Even with the tool, it can be really tricky just to get that tendon connection just right and make it so. But as you do it several times, you'll kind of get the hang of it. I eventually did over the course of the weeks I was building this glove in my free time. Just connect one of each length tendon so you can kind of see all the different sizes. So it comes with these 4 different size tendons. For the glove, I really ended up using the size 3 tendon the most, and a little bit of size 4 and size 2. I don't think I used any size 1 tendons. They just don't really seem that useful for what I was doing, but your results may vary. So Flexo can be used for a lot of different building possibilities. Here's like a little weird ball squishy thing that they have instructions for in the main Flexo kit. And there's a variety of kits you can get from Flexo. I'll put a link in the description for Flexo stuff. Yeah, so definitely it can solve a lot of building problems you might have, where you might need a bridge that's bendy, or a bow and arrow. I think they kind of showed how to build. There's lots of different possibilities. I just thought a glove was probably the coolest thing I could build out of it for my very first Flexo build. All right, so let's kind of take a look at how I constructed this glove. So as I said, I built this around my hand. So the first thing you need is a hand that you want to build this glove for. And then I started by building out each of the fingers. So if you kind of look at your fingers and how they move, you've got like 3 parts of a finger. I don't know, this part, and this part. And so I first started just with some 2x2 and 2x4 pieces and kind of lined them up and was like, oh yeah, 2x4, 2x4, 2x2. Your finger size may vary. Hopefully, we don't all have the same size hands. That would be strange. What am I doing? So then once I had kind of that, I just kind of put in some tendons between those 3 pieces to kind of space them out. So this is 1, one of the 2 length tendons, and this is one of the 3 length tendons. And how does that look? That's, you know, and you want to do it both in like unflexed situation and flexed to see how did that work. Now, so that's a pretty good match for my finger, and the reality is that these 3 fingers are about the same length, so whatever design you do for one of those fingers will probably work for that. So that was the first thing. Then the next thing was like, okay, how am I going to build around my finger? So I used some of the 3 long tendons for this. So let's build those out of the center of each of those 2x4s. We'll just do 1 for right now. And then do a 2x2. You could do 2x4s all the way around, but that's gonna be hard because like the inside of your finger kind of gets smaller than the outside when you flex it. So that's why I have a 2x4 up here and a 2x2 more on the inside. So I think this one was like 2 of the 3 tendons and 1 of the 4. And then loop that all around. And then fit it on my finger. And you can see I'm not super well connecting the tendons right now. So that worked pretty well for me for that like 1 joint there. And then I'll do the same thing for those other joints. But it was a lot of this where I would build something, test it on my hand, move it around a little bit. When I first did this, rather than having it be 2x4 and 2 2x2s, I had it be 3 2x2s. So these were smaller tendon joints, and that covered more of my finger, but then it just got really big and unwieldy. So that's why I went for kind of a model of having 3 pieces wrapped around a finger rather than 4. But then, yeah, if you wanted to do 4 pieces, you just use smaller tendon sizes. And again, map it out, test it out on your hand. Okay, let's test this out. Yeah, so that's a pretty good fit right now for those 2 joints. And then, now that these are existing, I also connected them from each joint going up, so it really kind of held the shape of my finger even after I took it off. So do one of those and do the same thing on the other side. And you can see how awkward this gets if you build it on your finger. So sometimes I would just test it out on my finger a little bit and then take it off and actually press all the connections in. Yeah, this is getting too hard to do, but I kind of figured out the size and then connect it when it's off my finger. So you can see that's already starting to like take the shape of my finger. Okay, now for the top of the finger, this again is going to be just some 2x2s around. So do a 3 long, another 3 long, in the other direction, a 2x2 off of a 3 long. And we could go ahead and connect those. But the other thing we're going to do is we're going to make an end cap. So this one, I'll put some 3 long connections in. This is going to be tricky to connect though. So we're going to connect this to the end here. And then we're going to connect it to these 2 as well, which again starts to already shape the things just by the connections. And then we'll connect this all the way around. And it gets really tricky to make some of these connections without other ones flying off. So when you're really doing this and kind of ready to finish it, I always recommend connecting something on top of these joints as soon as you're done with them. This, as you can see, falls apart pretty quickly otherwise. So let's go ahead and actually close this one up because that's done. So we've got the 2 parts of the finger now, and we're also gonna just put some 3 long joints going back towards the main finger. Now that I've done that, I'm gonna close these off just with Flexo. Again, this would be gold if you were, making this a gold gauntlet like I did. Just using some Flexo to quickly close it off. Now we can try and connect all that. Put that there. Put that there. Close off this top one now that it's got all the connections on it. Okay. And we can close off these side ones too. Jeez. Okay, so now that that's all done, can put this on again. Can see it's already starting to, keep the shape of my finger and compress in. It looks like actually this joint here, maybe we made the tendon too long. That's one thing, as you wear it and flex it, you'll kind of find out where you might want to adjust some of the tendons. These maybe are a little too long because this is now getting to be a little bit bigger than my finger. But now this is a pretty good rough shape for a finger. Again, these 3 tendons here I might shorten, and that's why I usually do these connecting tendons last after the main top line and just each loop is complete, because then you can get a sense of how it's flowing overall before you put these in and add extra space that you might not need or compress it. But yeah, already got a functional finger shape. So you basically just want to do that for all your fingers. So comparing this prototype finger back to the final model, you can see that this is basically what the shape and size of my middle and ring fingers end up being. For my index finger, basically the same, but I had some extra space to cover up there, so that ended up being a 2x4 on that one side, even though it is a 2x2 on the inside. The thumb is a weirder shape. It's also kind of off to the side, but it is, main thing to know about the thumb is there's only really 2 joints. So you can see I just have like 2 2x4 pieces here, again with an end cap down here, and they've got loops to 2x2s, and then everything is connected back. The pinky was a really weird finger. So this one only has an end cap and then 2 2x2s. This one is, got 3 2x2s in a loop, but the kind of flat one is on that side as opposed to on this side. This one's got 3, but they're not even all the way around connected. Again, this is where you just really build on your hand and add the joints. And everybody's hand's going to be a different size, so my size hand will not work for everybody. Then for kind of the rest of the glove, like this bottom part here you can see is just a big old ring of 2x4s. I used 8 with, I think these are mostly the 3 long tendons, aside for the connecty point, which I made 4 long, and then I just covered it up with some gold pieces. In the middle here, this is basically just 3 layers that are going around the inner part of my hand. This was 2x4s, but they're not all in a row. And then like this 2x4 is up, this one's sideways, these are 2x2s. There's another line of 2x2s. It's a little more obvious on this side that the inside of my hand is just these loops. For this side, the top was 2x2s, then 2x4s, 2x4s. We've got that really nice 2x4 connection. And a lot of these connection points lined up really well for kind of the wrist piece to the main glove body, 1 for 1. The only weird part is the thumb area, which is just the the thumb is weird. Let's just be honest about the thumb. So I covered a lot of the thumb area up with extra gold pieces, because when I actually built it, connect this on my hand again. Putting on a glove, putting on a glove, putting on a glove of Lego. So when I just built it with like where the Flexo pieces went for the thumb, there was this big open area, which, you know, I was okay with some skin showing, but I didn't want that much. So that's where I took some, pull this apart, 1x1 plate with clips in gold, because I had some of those. Put those off to the side, and then use those 1x2 with handles to add that up, and then you can twist it down. So that just helped cover up some of those spaces that I tried lots of different ways of getting a Flexo piece in there, but just based on how I had connected the thumb to the rest of the hand, it just kept being really problematic. So, and I did one on this side just to kind of matchy-matchy. And then this weird thing is 2x2 round tile, 1x2 plate with handle, 1x1 plate with clip, and 1x3 curvy slope. So again, that just covers up where my bracelet connection ended up being. But yeah, and I'm sure a lot of you are not going to have this many gold pieces, but this basic concept of building a glove out of Lego and Flexo, you could use for a non-gold gauntlet. Like if you wanted to do Iron Man, you could make this dark red with some gold highlights. Or if you wanted to do Lion-O's shield claw shield, that would also kind of be goldish, maybe tan. And even the Infinity Gauntlet you could do in yellow rather than gold, which would probably be an easier color, or you could even just use the natural Flexo orange for it. Oh, the Infinity Stones / gems are connected by 2x2 jumper plates in dark tan. Dark tan is pretty close to gold actually in the color, it's just not sparkly. And then the stones, the stones are 2x2 radar dishes with a 1x1 flat tile on them, just so the hole doesn't show, because I thought it was weird when the stones all had little holes in them. And so that's why I did them like that. So yeah, that is a look at the Infinity Gauntlet made out of Lego and Flexo. Sorry if today's video felt a little cramped. As you can see, the filming table is currently occupied by a lot of stuff for the Magic Picnic, which we're deep into animation on. And hopefully that'll be wrapped in a couple weeks, and then the Magic Picnic will be debuting in late February or early March. So stay tuned for that exciting animation. But yeah, that's why I didn't have my full normal white paper, because the blue and all that needs to stay put, because we're getting back right into animation after finishing this. But Gauntlet, rah, 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 rah.